Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Post market wrap up. I'm just sitting here for the last 2 minutes watching the chat here, and this is freaking hilarious, man. So Fatal 9998, start an egg farm with cocoa dogs, dude. I couldn't stop laughing. That's hilarious. I love it. It really puts me into a good mood. Anyway, guys and girls, I hope you can. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that so much because I really don't know what's going on with this sound freaking thing over here. Anyway, guys, look, we really have to talk. We have to put a few things into perspective, and I think most of us understand what's going on, and it's not going to stop. The mechanism here of currency purchasing power destruction. Look, this was my biggest theme for this year at the end of last year when I covered what I believe was going to happen here. And it seems to be playing out worse than I thought. You hear about all these comments about growth, growth, growth. Let me explain this to you. Our so-called leaders are not at all concerned about growth of the economy. They're talking about growth for the markets, for the 1% and 2% who own 90% of the markets of the entire world. The only way, there is only one. Listen to Greg for a minute here, everybody, okay? There is only one way to keep the stock markets of the world inflated. One and one only, and that means dramatic currency purchasing power destruction on the back of artificially suppressed rates. There's no other way. We've really reached that maximum saturation moment that you and I have been speaking about for 10 years. This is something I came up with on my own. It can't be stopped. And the fact that we have world leaders, players in this game, trying to explain to you, trying to convince you of a complete falsehood. That's what they do, politicians. Okay, they think you're stupid and they play off of it because they realize that 99% of the people have no idea how economies or the financial system works. They don't have any clue, most people. And that's why, again, why we have to engage ourselves and our minds more so than ever before. We got, again, the European Central Bank. We now have, consider what I'm saying, historically low rates around the world. Now they're trying to tell us, Lagarde, Trump, and I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm laying out the facts for you. If you don't see these as facts, correct me. I am more than willing to learn something new. World leaders here telling us that they're working with central banks or are willing to take whatever action it may be to make sure rates stay suppressed. And that means what? Currency purchasing power losses as a mechanism to prop up the stock market. Let me show you something else. This is where the market closed today, higher across the board. Look at the S&P 500 here, 6,070. The high in December was 6,088. This market has gone nowhere in almost 2 months. Almost 2 months. And again, without destroying the purchasing power of the currency, without artificially suppressing rates, we'll get all this is going to go away. It's going to go away in a massive way. They're not ready to do it, in my opinion. They're not done forcing people to suffer and to become dependent on the current system as we are bridged into a new one. I know that what I'm saying sounds correct to you, but what's really happening here, people? Let's talk about what's actually going on. We all understand around the world that we're dealing with an inflationary issue that we were told was temporary. We were told it was transitory. It was nothing, it's nothing to look at. Just don't worry. Focus on this, and there's no one that's been held to account at all. Zero. Okay. And then we hear again from world leaders, I'm demanding that the Fed cut rates with no explanation why. Is this really supposed to spark growth? It's working really well over in the Eurozone. and it's not going to work. All of you know it. Look at the poll. 90% of you believe that central bank issued notes currency is going to be further devalued moving forward. 90% of you are correct. 10% of you are in la la land. This has been in effect for decades, not going to stop, unfortunately. And the mechanism is going to be the same. So what we really have here, obviously, is a currency crisis. The currency purchasing power is disappearing. It's evaporating. Do you see what I'm talking about? But why isn't anyone talking about it on those terms? Because they can't. They have to tell you. See, because look, world leaders, no matter how much you worship them, you want to lick between their toes because you think they walk on water. They're not on your side. They're on the side of the 1% and 2%ers. And they're going to prop up the stock market by sucking it right out of you. That means you lose, the 1% and 2%ers win. Period. That's where we're going. And I believe that most of us are on the same page. So anyway, as I said, the stock market has gone nowhere in almost 2 months. Gold and silver today, catching a bid, especially silver looking really, really pretty here. Like it? Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, doing great. Now, let me show you a few other things here before we move on to economic news and a bunch of other stuff here. The 10 to 30-year Treasury yields end at their lowest levels amid slowing growth. The world economy, in case you're new here, maybe you don't know, is being systematically and methodically taken apart piece by piece by piece. And the root cause of this entire problem is what no politician is going to tell you. It is central banks, although Trump did say today that the Federal Reserve is responsible for inflation. It wasn't Joe Biden like he told you through the entire campaign. It really was the Fed, okay, which you all knew anyway. At least I hope so. Now, some of you didn't. Some of you actually believed that was true. It wasn't true. It was, and I've been telling you this forever. It's central banks who control monetary policy. You get it? You were lied to for the entire campaign. Are you going to hold them to account for that? No, you're not. And you know you're not, which is just embarrassing and kind of like really says a lot about people, doesn't it? That's why we're in the situation we're in. We don't hold anybody to account, not Federal Reserve, creatures, gargoyles, or anybody. It's just whatever they want to do, smack you across the face. Thank you, may I have another, this time backhanded, and then it's what you're going to get. But the slowing growth of the world economy, again, this is not going to stop. It's going to continue to contract moving forward. Now, on the back of this, 10 to 30-year yields ending at their lowest level amid slowing growth, of course, but they got to prop up that stock market. Remember, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to understand, the stock market would be nowhere. It would be nowhere near where it is if we had actually normal rates here and obviously a purchasing power of the currency that would benefit from that. The stock market would be cut in half. They can't have that. The wealth must be pushed higher up. And just to understand what I'm talking about is, yeah, sure, we can have a stronger economy around the world, but it will require much higher rates, which means a much lower stock market. Can't be allowed to happen. The 1% and 2%ers own 90% of the stock market. You have to pay for it, and you will continue to pay for it as you're going to hear more calls for lower rates. You're going to see this phenomenon occur as we just did today with Gargoyle and the European Central Bank. Are we on the same page here? If not, get your questions ready for me and we'll cover it at the end. So anyway, MMRI is still sitting here, still in an extreme risk zone. We'll see where that goes. Now, let us move forward. On the economic front, some beautiful stuff going on here. No one saw this one coming. No one expected to see this, except you, of course, if you follow this blog. U.S. weekly jobless claims decline more than expected. Really? I know where it's going. So do you. But these so-called economists who don't exist, who take these polls, It's all propaganda, of course. They didn't see this one coming. Pending home sales dropped sharply in December. Signed contracts on existing homes dropped sharply in December from the previous month, and fell 5% from the prior year. Oh, that sounds great. Our economy is booming, and this is the same phenomenon around the world. If you're selling your house, you're now look at this. You're selling your house. A home listed on the market is selling at its slowest pace in 5 years. That's because we're all rich. Now, I want to show you something else. U.S. GDP grew at 2.3% in the fourth quarter, which is, of course, less than our lovely economists, the rocket scientists that they are. They don't exist. No economist missed this. Nobody. You have to understand, these are fabrications. Now, according to this here, I want you to think about it. So don't take my word for what I'm about to tell you. And most of you probably know what I'm going to say. The current, by their numbers, let's engage our brains just for a second here. By their numbers, the inflation rate is 2.9% here in the United States, but our economy is growing at 2.3%. That means, just looking at their numbers based on inflation here, we're contracting. And we're contracting way faster than they're telling you, because these numbers are all fake. They're all fake. You all know that their inflation numbers are fake. Every bit of data, including that, is fake. It's all fake. Now, going back to propping up the stock market. This is Reuters on the back of the gargoyle today. What is that thing anyway? Can someone explain to me what it is? Because it's not human either. It's some other kind of yet to be defined entity. Weak growth, European Central Bank boost traders. Your area cut confidence. Okay, so what they're telling you is, doesn't matter. It's all about traders. It's all about the market. So traders grew more confident today, on Thursday. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. It's all done on purpose. You know that. On Thursday, as the European Central Bank would deliver 3 more rate cuts this year. I see we're getting 4 this year. Okay. Here in the United States and the Fed, as weak growth data is followed by the central bank's latest reduction in cutting rates here, just to boost the stock market. Did you need any more proof? It's in your face. You see, they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. But we know the game. We know what's happening here. A couple of other things I want to talk about. Most of you already know about this. London gold market queues up to borrow central bank gold after big shipments to the United States. London bullion market players are racing to borrow gold from central banks, which they only hold for tradition, not because it's real money. And let me just set the stage for you before I finish reading this. Central banks are the number one buyer of gold today. And here it looks like they're loaning it out. Okay, they're loaning it out. They're doing this for free, right? You know, of course they are. They're not getting anything for it. Okay. So they're the number one buyer of gold. At the same time, these institutions are the number one issuers and buyers of debt. So what are they doing? As they issue their product to the world, which is debt, nothing more in the form of currency, they're hoarding gold. They're betting against their own system. Does that tell you that we're in a currency crisis? Yeah, it seems like it, right? And they're the ones at the helm, but they got puppets demanding that rates are lower. Do you see? To prop up that stock market, to suck it right out of you. That should make you very angry. Sammy, thank you. Should make you exceedingly angry. Again, when you hear a politician, in this case, I'm not bashing Trump here. This is what he said. I demand lower rates. Why is not anyone saying why? Why? What is it for? How do we, the people, benefit from it? Is it going to help us? Is it going to make our currency stronger, Mr. President? Oh, we're supposed to be we're going to be growing our economy by sucking the purchasing power out so we can all suffer? Oh, we're really going to do that? Really? How is that going to happen when the world economy is contracting at its fastest pace on record? You really think that's going to change? Did you really? How many of you bought that? Did you really? Are you locked into that? The delusion of that? Really? Honestly? Anyway, here. So London bullion market players are racing to borrow gold from central banks, following a surge in gold deliveries from the United States on speculation of potential uh, import tariffs. How many of you remember when Powell said this? Fed Chair Powell, Bitcoin is like gold. It's just virtual and digital. In case any of you don't know, okay, this whole thing, the bridging of the new system into a crypto system here, it's all going to empower the central banks here. You need a bigger clue. He's already telling you. This is Powell working, of course, very closely with Donald Trump. They're playing the game. How does it feel to know that you and I nailed this to the wall? Not only prior to the selection did we say, if Trump was selected, miracle, okay, that we would hear him call for lower rates. Not only that, but we said there's going to be a battle. Watch what's going to happen. They're going to set up a battle, and it's all fake. It's all staged. That's how we're able to call this stuff, because you see, we understand what they're trying to sell us. Not you. We're not buying it. You and me are not buying it. Looks like 11% of the people here are absolutely deranged that are taking this this poll here. Maybe they're just joking around, trying to be silly. Look, people, here's a situation. There are very few people, and I really believe this, on the planet. You just happen to be one of them by being part of this family that we built, who honestly understand the financial system to a very, very high degree, and how economies work. I mean, look, man, you don't have to be a super MD, PhD, Nobel laureate, rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. It's too simple. We understand where this is all going, what the grander plan is. And the fact is that we are in an engineered currency crisis on an epic scale, And it seems like, as of right now, this poll, 89% of you believe it. Think about what I'm saying. 89% of you right now believe that central banks are going to continue to devalue their currency because they've been on a mission forever. This is their goal, to one day own it all. You know that. Read the Creature from Jekyll Island. People, look, all this stuff is at your fingertips. When you have nothing to do, okay, just start doing your own research on this stuff. Let me just say this real quick. I would gladly work for President Trump here, not only for free, but behind the scenes. In other words, I don't want recognition. I don't want medals. I don't want fame. I don't want nothing. I want to make a positive difference in the world. I want my existence to benefit people. That's all I want. All right. What I know, I want everybody to know. And if I could work, let's say, with Trump and whoever, keep me in the background. Don't, look, I really, really believe this, that I have a very clear understanding of the system with all of you. We're all in the same boat. We're all been, some of you have been with me for 1,000 years. Jonathan, thank you. I mean, what would it take, honestly? I would love to hear someone from Trump's administration. I wouldn't say a word. I would keep this so quiet and under the table that no one would have to know. Again, I don't want fame. I don't want medals. I don't want to be known. I just want to get in here and make a positive difference here. That's all I want to do. And Trump here demanding that the Fed cut rates. Man, you want to get rid of this institution? We start raising rates. You really want to get rid of this institution? We go back to a constitutional money system. All a demand for lower rates does is empower the Federal Reserve. It makes them stronger. The Federal Reserve, again, under the last three presidents, well, now four, has been vaulted to the pinnacle of power, the top of that pyramid that's on the dollar bill. The more debt they issue, the more that they're called on to issue or demanded to via the mechanism of artificially suppressed rates, makes them so much stronger. Is that what you want? Is that really what you want? No, we don't want that. But again, every single one, the gargoyle today and now Trump, they're playing the same game, right along with their central banks, pushing them higher and higher and higher, and making them stronger and stronger as they become our overlords. And we're just slaves. You understand? Because we must participate in the system. But now it seems like the new thing is they know the system is dying. They know the system is being dismantled because they're the ones that are doing it. And again, being bridged into this new system, mainstreaming cryptocurrency, which I was running a poll on it. Jeffrey, thank you. I appreciate it. We're nailing it together, man. All of you. All right. This isn't my thing, man. I'm just a piece of it. What we've created is just huge. This thing, and it's unbelievable that we don't have millions of people following this blog. Because if we did, they won't allow this to grow. This we get shadow banned. You know that. People get unsubscribed all the time. People of their own free will unsubscribe because I say something they don't agree with. You have to conform in this society. You understand that? You're not allowed to have an opposing view anymore. President Trump is looking to put an end to that and stop fake news. That may be me. Trump may consider this blog, this thing that we've built, as fake news. We're probably on borrowed time. Trump doesn't want you, or no world leader. Forget about Trump for a second. They don't want you to know this stuff. They don't want you to understand the financial system and the economy at all. Knowledge, wisdom is power on an unimaginable scale. You're not supposed to know the stuff that we talk about here at all. So I would believe that this is an endangered species. Trump wants to put an end. In other words, if you don't have that, don't believe me on this. Look it up for yourself. He wants to stop what he declares as fake news. This could potentially be fake because I'm saying what Trump is telling you is exactly what we don't need. So, okay, maybe I'm going to go away. Whatever, man. Oh, guys and girls, what can I tell you, man? So anyway, look, not only are we facing, I want you to think, look, I know this is running a little bit longer. Maybe we'll get to a half an hour. I don't know. So we have this issue here of central banks devaluing their currency around the world, and it's not going to stop. We know that via this mechanism of artificially suppressed rates because it's going to spur growth. It's going to spur growth in the stock market, but it hasn't done anything. Here, the S&P 500 has remained flat. We've done nothing, okay? Zero since the day I got out of this market. We've gone nowhere. And I want you to again focus on this, okay? Without massively artificially suppressed rates, possibly even negative. People, I'm going to tell you, the economy is going to continue to shrink around the world. World leaders, gargoyles, and Trumps, and whoever else they want to float out there is going to tell you, they're going to sell this to you, that to spur growth, we need to lower rates. But they're not going to tell you that means that the purchasing power of the currency is going to evaporate. That's what they're going to tell you, and legions of people are going to buy it. And that's why they're not going to say a word. They're not going to hold their leaders to account because they believe that these people have their best interest in mind. It's not true. In order to, again, prop up the stock market, because that's what this is all about, they got to suck it from you. Suck it right out of you. Why do you think things are the way they are? Really, is this just comedy of errors? Just an accident? You can't make it up, man. You really can't. You can't do it. But that's where we're at. I want people to start holding their leaders to account. I really do, but it won't happen. And then if you try to, then you're going to be an enemy here. Let's just say, for example, on Trump's new decree here to get rid of fake news, including this blog, more than likely, you're going to become an enemy. If you were to, even if you voted for Trump and you support his entire agenda, if you said, hey, you know what? I question you. What about this, sir? It's your duty it's our duty to question our leaders here. Okay, that's what we're supposed to do. It's in the Constitution of the United States, at least. I know about other nations, okay? But you will now be considered an enemy. Do you see what I'm talking about? No. You're not towing the line. You don't see things through Trump's eyes. Well, then I guess you're persona non grata anymore. You understand? Does this make sense to you what I'm saying here, or is this just what is it? Anyway, all right, guys and girls, that's kind of where we stand here, and I mean what I said. I don't want medals. I don't want fame. I don't want even in the slightest bit of recognition. If somebody from Trump's administration were to reach out to me, maybe Trump himself, I would never say a word. I would work in the background to try to at least make some kind of a positive difference here. And if I can't do that, that's fine. That's fine. We will stick together, you and me, because we are, trust me on this, because I hear from people every day making a positive difference in other people's lives. You know, that's really all that matters. It's really all that matters. Because when you leave this world, no matter how rich you are, man, you can't take it with you. What do you take with you? The things that you've done, the positive things that you've done, to things that you've done for others, not just for yourself. What you do with yourself dies with you. What you do for others lives on. And that's what I'm all about. That's what we are all about here. Understand? At least I would hope so, guys and girls. I think we're kind of all on the same page here. I think we're all here because we believe in these things. At least I hope so. I really, really do. Anyway, is there anything you guys and girls want to talk about? Did I say anything here? And you're allowed to disagree with me. You are absolutely allowed. You're not allowed to disagree with Trump, but you can disagree with Greg Mannarino. I love that. We're supposed to, again, people here who people don't see eye to eye. That's fantastic. It means that they have this something going on there that they can come to an accord and benefit everyone. Does that make sense to you? Or is it just has to be this way and that's it? This is why we're a conquered society. This is why we can't elicit change. We've been divided and therefore conquered. They're laughing at us. We can't come together. If you don't see things one way, then you just don't fit in. You know what I mean? We all have to conform. And I don't like that. I think that we need to have a different perspective on things. You understand? Anyway, guys and girls, that's kind of where we're at. I don't know what else to say. I already talked about the S&P 500, Sebastian. We've gone nowhere. We've gone nowhere. Since December 5th, the high. And I believe, again, we need a few things to happen. I want to see, again, it's going to be fake. It's not real. It's not real. They're going to suck it out of you to prop up the stock market via artificially suppressed rates. Look, gargoyles and Trumps and whoever else they want to throw at you to tell you the same stinking story. And that's just the way it is, man. And you lose. It's an incredible thing. It really is. I don't think that is Trump. It's you know what? Look, I believe they're all reading a script. You see Trump reading those teleprompters? They're telling them what to say. Every world leaders, they're all puppets. I would rather die. I would rather die than become a sellout like that. Someone that has to read a script that they're told what to say. Imagine becoming a puppet like that. Looking here at that teleprompter, they hide it from the TV, and then look at that teleprompter, and then look over there at that teleprompter. They very rarely look here unless they can kind of see out the corner of their eye. They all do the same thing. They have to, they're told what to say. They become puppets, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. They're all in the same boat. They're all carrying out the same agenda, which is to destroy the economy and the people with it. Sound like we're on the same boat here? Productivity. What are we producing here? We have an economy, if you base it again, GDP 2.3% in December, the rate of inflation 2.9%. Base one against the other where the economy is contracting, and that's by their own numbers. It's over. It's over. They can't fix this. Bring all the factories back around the world here to the United States and start making things. You're not going to get factory orders. People can't survive here because they're being pressured via a system that is deliberately being taken apart so to take them with it. And the root cause of the entire problem comes down to a currency crisis. But nobody's telling you about this. Nobody's talking about this. It's just crazy. Puppets are cool. Yeah, you're right. Some puppets are cool. Guys and girls, man. Um, Anything else before we get out of here? Anything you guys want to talk about? Greg is a certified cryptologist. I'm having a hard time reading some of this, going a little bit fast here. Comments on cryptocurrencies. People, look, you know my take on this stuff. I've been telling you for many, many, many years, you need to have some of this in your portfolio. Cash seeks yield. Cash looks like it's seeking yield. It's jumping into cryptocurrencies. We're being bridged into a new system. And it looks like, again, most people, I'm running a poll right now. It got sent to you if you subscribe to this blog. More than 60% of you don't want it, but you're going to get it anyway, even though you don't want it. That's where we're going. We're being pushed that way very, very hard. I really believe this is a backdoor bailout for the banks in many, many ways. Here, they're being deregulated along with cryptocurrency. They're being merged together. You don't know. And no one's talking about it. Not even President Trump. And he's well aware of the issues going on with banks and their balance sheets right now. They're black holes. They are all insolvent. The entire financial system is insolvent. They know the system is coming apart, henceforth, why we're being bridged into a new system. And I can promise you, they're going to ease in tokenization. We're going to a full-on tokenized system across the board. Everybody knows it. I mean, it's like it's common knowledge. And what are people doing about it? Nothing. Nothing at all. Zero. They're just sitting back, and it's just happening. It's just happening. And unfortunately, look, man, because people aren't pushing back, because people are not holding their leaders to account, and you can't do it because then you'll be deemed, persona non grata, maybe even a terrorist, and maybe exported to Guantanamo Bay. Who knows what they have in store for us, people, but I'm telling you, it ain't pretty. You really think you're free? You can't say things. You cannot have an opposing view. Otherwise, it's fake. And if it's fake, you're gone. Who makes that decision if what you're saying is fake? It looks like Trump and his administration right now. Lovely. Is this the United States of America that you wanted? Is this the United States of America that you actually thought your votes counted, that you voted for? This is what you wanted? Fantastic. You're going to get what you're asked for. Everybody is, unfortunately. But I know that's not you guys and girls here. You see this for what it actually is. It's so in our face. They're laughing at us because they're waiting for some kind of an uprising. They're waiting for people. Well, no, their biggest fear, should I say, is that we will unify, is that we will come together to try to elicit positive change. But they got us done. They've managed to conquer us. America has fallen. America has fallen, and they're going to rebuild it back the way they want to. And if that means that Greg Mannarino's blog is considered fake news because I disagree with how they're running the economy and the financial system, well, then I'm going to be gone. And that's sad. I'll miss all of you. I will. They won't allow it anywhere, not even on any so-called free speech network. We can't have free speech because, again, you cannot have an opposing view. It's fake news. You understand? It sounds about right, huh? Anyway, it would be a dark day if that happens, but that's where we're going. You can't have an opposing view. Babylon. It's the Babylon system. Absolutely is what this is, people. You know that. That's crazy. It's crazy stuff here. All right, guys and girls, I think we're going to call this here. I've gone through a lot. I love all of you from the heart. I mean this with all I got. Please, if you got something out of this video, or if I have earned that thumbs up, I would really hope you get this video out. We had a lousy turnout today. See, people don't want to see things like currency crisis, which is in the title of this video. They don't want to see it, so they block it. We have 1,474 people here right now. That is frankly pathetic. But I'm happy to be here with all of you because that 1,000, almost 1,500 people here, you guys are the ones that belong here because you see things for what they actually are. You should consider that part of your God-given gift of intellect because you're smart enough to understand. Yes, Lava, we count. I'm happy to see you here too. Anyway, guys and girls, love you from the heart. I mean this with all I got. Sandy, Texas, fear. What are you afraid of? Don't be afraid of a damn thing. Take action. Fear is paralyzing. We're not afraid of anything. There's not a single person here. We are lions, all of us, lions and lionesses, and we don't fear anything. We fear control. And that's what they're trying to extort from us. Control. And instead of fearing it, I mean, they fear. You see, we have to turn the tables. They have to fear us. Okay. That's how you remain a free people, by the government fearing you. When you fear your government, you lose. You understand? But again, fake news. We can't have any of that. How does that not equate to a direct attack on free speech? Trump is supposed to be the free speech proponent, right? But you can't have an opposing view. Someone here that's smarter than me, explain that to Greg Mannarino in a way that I can understand that. All right, guys and girls, I am out of here. All right, I love you all again from the heart. I mean that. Please share this stuff, get it out there, comment. I will see you in the morning. We covered a lot of very, very important material here, and I really hope you guys are going to start to, get this stuff out there. All right, I will see you in the morning. All right, I'm out of here.